the taxi industry. The Transport Minister, Fikile Mbalula, has revealed that they are deep in discussions about professionalizing the sector. Mbalula says they will sign a pact with the role players very soon. To touch on this and more, I'm joined by the newly appointed or newly elected President of the South African National Taxi Council, Santaco for short. That's Mr. Abner Tsebe. Mr. Tsebe, thank you so much for your time. I want to go straight to the issues. Stop the killings. That was the key takeaway of your opening speech as the newly elected President of Santaco. Why was that top of mind for you?
Thank you very much, Ekoli, and good morning to the viewers. Stop the killing. I think this one agenda has been long on the agenda of Santaco to try and unify the taxi industry to be able to make sure that associations from grassroots level adopt the system of negotiations rather than killing one another when there are misunderstandings.
Yeah.
Now we are in a program of making sure, even if, it's a very big one to deal with, because you remember that we've got law enforcement. If someone kills someone, it's a law enforcement issue now. And I'm a bit worried that when people kill one another in the taxi industry, there's not much report back in terms of the arrest or law enforcement issues that will be taken steps going forward. So as Santaco, we are taking it forward as our Tier 3 2020 strategy that talks about redefining and restructuring and repositioning this industry to be able to tap into the economic mainstream of this country. So without us talking, because this is internal, I've said it even in my opening remarks that the enemy to the taxi industry is the taxi industry itself.
Yeah.
So we are working tirelessly to get to the bottom of these killings.
All right. So if you were to give me at least two practical examples of how violence is going to be tackled effectively in the taxi industry. And this is, I suppose, part of the reason why Minister Mbalula is talking about professionalizing the industry, the taxi industry. Let's use two living examples. Carter and Codeta in the Western Cape. What will it take to bring about lasting peace when it comes to a fight over routes?
I think in this regard, we need to engage government and also different stakeholders and even the taxi operators themselves to make them aware that they cannot, pen is mightier than sword, they cannot resolve their issues by killing one another. This is one lesson that we need to emphasize, that look, in any, all countries, let's give an example of Ukraine and Russia as we speak now. They will start to, there's a fight, but there's a process of negotiations. But we cannot be seen as business of fighting and killing one another. So because we need each other for us to be able to engage going forward in terms of the initiatives and programs that governments want us to professionalize this taxi industry. And remember, we cannot always be an industry that creates offense than business. We want to create business opportunity, not create offense to the families.
Yeah. You've also committed to achieving female representation in the taxi industry. What do the figures look like right now? And I suppose more important, once the women are fully represented in the taxi industry, what do you think their involvement will help change about the industry?
In Santaco, we've got what we call a woman desk, led by a woman. And there's a platform of us bringing women together to be able to participate in the leadership role. In some areas, we have taken a resolution, we resolved as the industry to say, on top 5 positions, we are giving women one position, uncontested for that matter, to start bringing them so that they can start learning. There are programs, of course, in terms of training that Santaco will be engaging on to make sure that we empower women fully so to be represented in the leadership role and also in the business of the taxi industry.
Yeah. Final question to you, sir. You also serve as chairperson of the Tshwane Rapid Transit Board of Directors, which brings me to the final question about formalizing the taxi industry. Whether you say formalization or professionalization of the industry, I suppose it's one and the same thing. Does that signal to this industry that it is indeed on its way to being a professional transport system?
It is definitely a process that we are engaging on. And yes, it brought some changes to the mindset, if I might say it that way, to start showing the taxi people that we need now diversification. We've been using taxis as a stepping stone to start small, but now we are on the buses. And then being members of the board, we are also taking into cognizance that our members, in terms of shareholding, needs a lot of education. So government has created a platform for advisors, and also from Santaco we are engaging. We are going to start engaging the BRT issues to start transforming and formalizing the affected operators, of course, and also making sure that everybody that is affected by this BRT, he will be empowered. We don't want to leave any stone unturned, because we are even aware that some operators are affected because they are already on a 12-year contract, but we want to engage the national government to start negotiating further to say how possible can we make BRT to be an empowerment vehicle going forward, because to us 12 years is too little. We would want to engage, but we'll report back on that matter once we've met with the national government.
Abner Tsebe is the newly elected president of Santaco, that's the South African National Taxi Council. Thank you very much for your time, sir.